name is Ayanna Lott, and I am the newly appointed Executive Director for Resilient Coders. I'm so excited. This is such a surreal moment for me. I was hired about a year ago, and who knew? Who knew that this would take place today? Our fearless leader and founder, Dell, is also in the house today, which is a great surprise. Dell resigned earlier this year and has transitioned as an emeritus board member. His book, What We Build with Power, is in pre-sale now and can be purchased online. I know it's a shameless plug, but Dell, please put the link in the chat so everyone can go out, purchase this book, and get it on the the New York best-selling time list. In 2014, Resilient Coders was founded when Dell took vacation from his job at PayPal to give coding lessons to young men in a youth correctional facility. Dell quickly realized that the students he taught had the intelligence and resourcefulness to be contributing members to the tech economy. Since then, Resilient Coders has provided sustainable career options to hundreds of young adults of color and empowered them to bring change to their economies. After completing our 20-week program, alumni possess the skills to code in some of the most demanding technologies: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node.js, and MongoDB. By investing an extensive amount of time in general object-oriented programming principles, students can easily jump from one language or framework to the next. Our program is intensive. Many of our students here this evening are putting their best foot forward, but trust me, they are exhausted. They've been through the ringer. We do it because we believe in social justice through economic empowerment and in the opportunity for meritocracy in tech, which brings about meaningful change. One of the great battles of our generation is slipping by, unnoticed by too many of us: equitable access to the economy. With the income gap consistently widening and with roughly half of Americans not seeing a raise in almost 4 decades, that's 40 years, we have hit a crisis point. Conventional wisdom celebrates the United States as a place where anyone, regardless of their resources, can climb the ranks if they work hard enough. In reality, there is less movement up and down the economic ladder here than in many other countries. Recent studies show that 54% of Americans are stuck on the ladder. If you are among the wealthiest of your peers in your early 30s, research suggests that you are likely to be among the wealthiest in your late 50s. Similarly, if you have less wealth than your peers in your early 30s, the same is likely to be true later in life. Wealth inequality in the United States is high and rising. According to the Federal Reserve Board's distributional financial accounts, the top 1% held 31% of all wealth in 2019, up from 24% in 1989. In contrast, the median middle class wealth in real terms was about $156,000 in 2019, just shy of its 2007 level of $176,000. The racial gap is almost stubbornly large. In 2019, the median white family had a net worth of about $188,000, almost 8 times the net worth of a median Black family, $24,000. Differences in mean wealth are even larger. The average family has about $841,000 more than the average Black family. Inequalities between generations are of increasing concern. Home ownership is a cornerstone of middle class wealth building. For example, the younger generations generally have lower home ownership rates than their parents and grandparents at the same age. This intergenerational gap in home ownership is especially acute for Black and Hispanic families, as well as for those in the bottom half of the income distribution. During COVID-19 pandemic, billionaires in the United States became unfathomably richer to the tune of, catch this, $637 billion in total. This is while tens of millions of Americans lost their jobs. If that isn't racial and wealth stratification, I don't know what is. Black and brown folks don't need another ladder to climb. We need to fix the broken system. And I believe it takes a system to fix a system. Here's why all of this, all of those statistics are important to me. I come from a working class neighborhood in West Philadelphia. My father worked for the city as a sanitation worker. My mother was a homemaker. It was four of us, four children. So it's a family of six. We didn't have a lot of money, but I was blessed with a vibrant village. Education was essential in our home. I can still remember playing outside in the summertime only to hear my mother's loud voice call me and my siblings inside to do schoolwork. My mom did not play about her lesson plans. She would knock us upside the head, trauma and all, if we did not focus and if we did not bring home the right grades. My parents' mission was for us to go to college and get a good education. That's all they said was get a good education. We didn't know what that meant. Just get a good education. I did just that. I graduated with my BA in journalism in 1999. My family couldn't afford to pay for me to go to college, so I took out loans on top of loans. So when I graduated, I accepted a job at an advertising agency making a whopping $19,500 a year. That I'm choking thinking about it. That was my salary. I was broke, broke. I had school debt. I couldn't afford much. I remember going food shopping, and the two items I would eat very often, probably why I'm gluten free now, popcorn and pancakes. It took years for me to earn enough money so that when I scanned my debit card in the store, I wasn't praying to sweet baby Jesus that it would go through. Please, please go through. Please go through. A college education is expensive in this country. And God forbid if you choose the wrong major like me, and if you have to stop because of financial reasons. If you had loans, you still have to pay those loans back. I understand the magnitude of the wealth gap. So when I met Dell last year and he shared with me the work of RC and the work that's been going on since 2014, I said to him, even if you decide to hire someone else as the chief of staff, how can I help? I understand wholeheartedly what it looks like to strive and thrive and grapple with low pay and high demands from employers. I understand the Matilda effect, where my voice and ideas were minimized by my peers and then stolen by my superiors. I understand being denied a promotion because it just wasn't my time. Why does this matter? Many of you have heard the same sentiment from your parents. Go to college, get a good education. If you can't afford college, what do? And if the price of education increases exponentially each year, what happens to the brown and black kids who, like me, come from low income backgrounds? But peep this. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the annual cost of mass incarceration in the United States is $81 billion. But that figure addresses only the cost of operating prisons, jails, parole, and probation, leaving out policing and court costs and costs paid by families to support incarcerated loved ones. It costs $42,000 and $55,000 per year per prisoner in Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, respectively. Let's let that sink in. That makes sense to our government. That makes sense to our leaders. That makes sense. But no to free education? The math is not mathing. I want my free loan forgiveness. Biden, I need you to get that through. Author Toni Morrison once said, the function, the very serious function of racism is a distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. Growing up Black and brown in America can be torture. Good parents find they must teach their children how to twist themselves into numerous contortions to avoid trouble, from beatings to arrest to death. We have to be extra careful, extra aware, extra vigilant. We must instantly evaluate every word and gesture from whites and find a way to dress and speak that works in their particular situations. Why does this matter? Racial disparities impact us all. We live in a society where rescinding the rights of women, voting rights, and marriage equality has become common fodder. Our human rights are relegated to courts and laws and systems. No matter where you sit on the political pendulum, that should trouble you. And I know that we've gotten better, we've made progress, and I'm not jaded. But how do we celebrate where we are now and challenge ourselves to move the needle and create a more just society? What is the solution? Resilient Coders is a solution. Thanks to our founder, Dell, our program team, Leon, Alex, Vons, Ellie, and Erica, who are in the classroom teaching the students day in and day out, Atia, our money maven who writes grants and ensures that the funding is there, Lexi and Stephanie, who literally hoist the students over the finish line, providing guidance to and through the hiring phase, to our amazing team of mentors and alumni. We have more than 300 graduates who've completed the boot camp and are working as software engineers for reputable companies around the world with an average salary of $92,420. That's not a bad place to start. Our brilliant, budding software engineers, ones who you will meet tonight, are the solutions to your organization. They bring varied life experiences. They are sensors. They are acutely aware of their surroundings. They know how to read the room. They thrive under pressure. And if you can teach it, they can learn it. They don't see their race as an impediment. In fact, they know they're magical. They understand, as activist and author Chad Saunders wrote, our power does not lie in the fact that we've overcome trauma. Our power lies in the fact that we create in the midst of trauma. They continue to create and persevere and overcome with empathy, integrity, and grit. You are the solution. I'm talking to every hiring partner, every mentor, every funder. I once heard someone say, you can't collaborate with someone you don't value. You are the ones who partner with our community, and you allow the people in this room right now, with lived experiences to provide the solutions to to the issues plaguing their communities. We are all significant to this cause. So before I close, I want to ask you a question that we ask our students when they make it through Hustle Week. Do you promise to be resilient? When you're knocked down and exhausted, when the change you hope to see isn't coming to fruition as quickly as you like, when you've heard no more times than you've heard yes, and it seems like the perfect time to quit, do you promise to be resilient? When it's time to hire for an opening software engineering role, will you remember this evening? Will you remember our students? Do you promise to be resilient when it's time to pay the placement fee? Yes, we want our money. We need the money for the students you hire so that we can invest in future students and communities. Will you pay our students, our graduates, our alumni an equitable salary? You may say, Ayanna, I don't make the decisions to hire folks and pay the placement fee for students. I don't make decisions for salary. Okay, I have one for you. Do you promise to be resilient when it comes to advocating for our cause and the cause of Black and Brown folk in tech? Will you speak up in rooms where the door is shut and no one can hear? When people of color are essential to the story and mission of organizations, they move beyond a quota to fill and become humans to celebrate and admire. Whether you're Black, brown, white, queer, straight, non conforming, non binary, and non bothered, we are all beautifully human, and together we can change the economic landscape of a generation. Thank you so much for your time. Now let's get to work.